And then it dwindled down.
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Page Chaf Hey. Page Chaf Hey.
Cafe or cafe?
Chaf Hey.
25, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, those were the days.
Page Chaf Hey.
Shofar.
Yeah. Simin Tav Kupites. We're going to discuss tonight some dinamich and Negela Maisa when it comes to Hilchas Tkiya Shofar. Mi heim aru'im l'Tkiya Shofar. Who is Roi for Tkiya Shofar? Shkoyach. Ala Misha Chetzi Eved Chetzi Min Choyrin. The past there was a concept of Avadim. Someone who was half Eved, half Ben Choyrin means he was half free. He cannot blow for himself. He needs to have a free person blow for him.
How do you have free?
How do you have free? Let's say you had two owners. Or you had one owner. The owner said, one day you're free and one day you're mine. One day. One day your own man.
Yep.
Yeah, or he had two owners and one set him free. So then he's, half the time, he's to himself.
Okay.
By the yoitz with tkiyos shalatzme, he's not yoitz with his own tkiya.
Yes.
He needs to have someone else blow for him, and he's not yoitz. Wait, let's call it this. An Eved himself, the halacha is avadim were mechuyev and mitzvahs the same as a woman. They were not mechuyev, they were parted for mitzvah say shazman grama. Mitzvahs that are time bound. However, here we have an Eved that's half free. So he's not totally Eved. So how do we judge him? Ben Choyrin or Eved? So we say because he's half Ben Choyrin, he needs to hear a shofar.
What's Ben Choyrin mean?
A free man.
And the other is a servant?
Yeah.
It was joint custody, you said. That's
There
what,
was, yeah.
like
now-
you have that in child support, you know.
So he needs to have another person blow for him. He cannot blow for himself because he himself has two halves to himself. The free side of himself is obligated to hear 9 complete tkiyas, kosher tkiyas. If he will blow himself, every tkiya is going to blow, half of it's puzzle, because half it's an Eved.
So you wouldn't say a berachoh?
No.
So how does he know when to say?
But someone else should blow for him without a berachoh. Or he could hear in shul.
When's the half good? When is the half of when he blows that it's good? How do they know when it's good?
There's no half.
Could they know?
Every
Could they
single
know?
every single sound. Every single sound.
It can't be calculated the same.
It's not. It's quality. It's quality.
Yeah.
It's not quantity.
It's quality, right?
Every single sound that he blows is it's like 50%. You know,
So it's not
50% kosher.
So it doesn't count really.
Doesn't count.
Nothing counts. It cancels it out.
No good.
Right.
No anything. Now, women are potter, right? But women come to here to give a shofar. It's fine. They're allowed to do mitzvah seishas man grama. They want to do their potter from sukkah. They wanted the sukkah. That's fine. It's a good thing. It's a nice thing. They get a mitzvah, as the Gemara says. The Gemara has a discussion. Is someone who's not commanded to do a mitzvah does a mitzvah? Eine mitzvah v'oisa. What is their level of schar? What schar do they get? The halacha is they get schar, they get reward, but not the same level as someone who's commanded. Someone who's commanded to do the mitzvah has a certain achrayus, responsibility to do the mitzvah, so we pay him also for that feeling, that yoke of responsibility. Someone who's not doing is volunteering to do the mitzvah. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing. But even though it's a wonderful thing and the person came out and said, I want to do a mitzvah, very nice, but since they didn't have that feeling of themselves, it's a voluntary feeling, they don't feel that obligation on themselves, so they don't get as much schar.
Is it like one person, the person obligated, the male person, is like hot warrior to Hashem, has the straight connection, and the other one is the indirect connection, the woman is indirect, not direct like the man.
They all have direct, but we have a big Yetzirah, so we need more mitzvahs. Go look in the jails. How many women are there in the jails? How many men? You know?
Not as many as men.
There's two views. One saying cash to the father, one saying cash to the mother, one saying cash to the father, one saying
It might help.
Does it fall to the category of Tivolem berachoh?
That's it.
In Shulchan Aruch, there's certain statements. Tivolem berachoh. Is that the situation?
We're going to see here soon about the bracha.
Tivolem berachoh.
Ah, Tova and bracha, they get a bracha. Yeah, for sure, more than a bracha. They get an actual schar. Yeah, it's a meal mitzvah.
Right, this is some money.
They get a mitzvah. A woman who says Sfiras Ha'omer, sits in the sukkah, benches lulav and esrog, Tkiya Shofar. A lot of mitzvah seishas man grandma women want to do it. They like to do it. That's a good thing. They should do it. Certain things we refrain them from doing.
Such as
Tefillin, let's say. Tefillin, even though it's in the seishas man grandma, why don't we see their potter? Why don't they do it? Because even men, really, Chazal want us to wear tefillin an entire day. That's how it was when it was. Tefillin is not supposed to be done just for a few
the
minutes.
short time, right?
Right, not just for davening. Mitzvah, tefillin really is supposed to be just like tzitzis.
Wow.
Tefillin is a whole day.
But I want to ask.
But it's not a kiligeder when it comes to the shot that is, right?
No, it's not clear. But maybe now it is, because now I only come on
I saw
real.
a picture of lady put on filling on the kosim.
But nice is like tefillin, let's say. Chazal wanted men
Wear it all
should
day.
not, but it was stopped. But meant that we only do it during davening. That's it. Is because people not able to keep their body clean and not pure
The whole day.
for a whole day. So it was not appropriate to be a whole day running in tefillin. So we say, you have a certain amount of time to daven, you'll be able to concentrate yourself. But a woman's not obligated, so we don't want to give that heter for women. A man to have a chiv to tefillin, you're mechoyev to tefillin. So we're going to tell you, you got to put it on. We can't tell you now to put it on, but only the minimum, just for davening. But a woman is not mechoyev. We're going to discourage women from wearing tefillin. Same tzitzis. Tzitzis is less of an issue. You don't have any obligation to have a guf naki for tzitzis because tzitzis is not tashmishe kedusha. It's called tashmishe mitzvah. By tefillin, the actual tefillin itself are holy. By tzitzis, I'm wearing it could be my shirt, my kapata, my jacket, and it has 4 corners on it. I need to put on a tzitzis. Happens to be we make special tzitzis that we make it 4 cornered. But in reality, it could be it's your regular coat that has 4 corners.
The bathroom with it. Right?
That's why you allowed to go in the bathroom in it, right? Halpi halach, straight halacha, you're allowed to take the tzitzis and put them in the garbage. The minig is, already says, I think in the Mechaber and Shulchan Aruch already says that it's best to treat them with respect. You put them away somewhere, a respectful place. So that's the minig with this. But they're not actually holy like tefillin is holy.
But the zechut of the women we left Mitzrayim. Is
right.
that true?
Sure.
So the women have a very high level of kedusha.
But the women don't wear tzitzis like they would.
So tzitzis is less of an issue. Tzitzis is not an issue. Tzitzis is a var only of yuhara.
It's
women
don't wear it anyway.
But this is.
But you should know that in Europe,
a big deal.
there were some babbas, a few babbas, very big Yerushalayim that wore talis cottons. Not like openly, but there were some that wore. And there are people today who had grandmothers, great grandmothers that did it. It wasn't that many. It was like a special rebbitzin that she would do it. There's only an issue of yuara showing off balgaiva that no other women do it. So it's not respectful that you're like. But in the essential idea, there's no isser. It's not like an issue of tefillin where there's a guf naki issue. We're not discussing here those movements that are dafka trying to wear talis tefillin because there it's a whole different story. There the dafka putting it on to say that we're they don't believe in the whole concept that potter from mitzvah seishas man grama. They're trying to change the Torah. So it's not pshat. It's like the daughters of Rashi that wore tefillin, or holy women is someone that exception to the rule. We have to check out if they taka keep all the other mitzvahs. So it's only shkoich. It's only these mitzvahs that they want to make a show. And as lamaisa, women are potter from Tkiya Shofar. So can a woman blow for herself shofar? Technically, api halacha, we have an issue for women blowing shofar. A woman could say to so I'm by herself, but blowing shofar Rosh Hashanah is an issue because really blowing an instrument is asur on Shabbos and Yom Tov. A man is mechoyev in the mitzvah, so he blows an instrument, he blows a shofar. But a woman is potter. So who said this is like? It shouldn't be like other mitzvahs. Sitting in the sukkah, saying Sfiras Ha'omer. What harm can become over here? Yeah, to her it's like muksa. Her, there's an isser blowing instrument, so it's asr.
You mean by your man it's asa daichalaisas? I mean, I'm just asking, is that the technical, is that really how it works? I mean, how is it brought down? Like you're saying you're not supposed to blow, but the Al's mitzvah we do it. So what is the, you know what I mean?
It sounds like it's dark.
Yeah, let's do it off.
I'm asking the man.
Because I'll tell you like this: the isser of blowing shofar is not a regular drabanan. It's a weaker drabanan. It's called a shvus kal. There's a shvus, a regular shvus, a regular drabanan. In drabanan is different levels. How strong Chazal made it. It's called a shvus gomer or a shvus kal. Shvus gomer means a real shvus, a real drabanan, more stringent within. A shvus kal, it's a lighter drabanan.
Which other ones are there?
Shvus generally means a drabanan. Din drabanan. Some once in a while, shvus means a lashon shovis, like Shabbos, like resting. Chazal told us to rest and to stay away from certain things. When we come, the general term is shvus for a drabanan. But when we want to get into the details of the differences, then we'll suddenly add on an adjective. We'll say shvus gomer. That is a total, complete shvus, and that's a shvus kal, a lighter shvus. Blowing a shofar on Shabbos, it's not like there's an issue when you blow a regular instrument on Shabbos. We don't use regular instruments on Shabbos because a person might come to fix it. Let's say you're with ones which have the strings on it. It falls off. You might come to fix it. That could be issa deraisa. Tikkun keli makaba patush. You're mamish making it into a keli. You're making it. That's a real malacha. Since it's very often if an instrument would break, someone would fix it. But over the Raisa, Chazal did not want us to blow instruments on Shabbos. But shofar doesn't have anything. There's nothing there to fix in the shofar. If it breaks, it breaks. Nothing you can do about it. So, what's the isser? The isser is uvdin the choil. Chazal felt it's a weekday activity, blowing things like a shofar. They didn't want peace and quiet on Shabbos. It's uvdin the choil. It's a weekday activity.
They blew it in the Medina, didn't they?
Well, 1 minute. We on Yom Tif it's an also Issa. But Uvdin the Chol is an Issa on Shabbos and Yom Tif equally. So even on Yom Tif you have the issue of Uvdin the Chol. But we blow shofar. It's a mitzvah same in a Torah. But a woman is not obligated. A woman is not obligated to give shofar. So what gives her right to be over on Uvdin the Chol? So over here we're going to learn Chazal made a special improvision. They said women really want to hear shofar. It's a very special mitzvah for them. So since it's a real nachas for them to blow it and they feel tsar not blowing it, we're going to put aside this shavus kal. So this is a shavus kal only of uvdin d'choil. It's just uvdin d'choil. We push it aside to allow the women to blow shofar.
How about 30 women sitting down, they want to hear shofar, they have no man, the only woman can blow the shofar. So you have to do it.
That's a tax.
If there's only one woman, let's take a look in Sif Beis. Av hapisha noshim peturis, even though women are potter, mikol makim ratzu l'tgoya ba'atzman reshus b'yadam. If women want to blow on for themselves, they can. They can blow for themselves.
Okay, that's fine, yeah.
It's not reform. It's orthodox.
The Yotzei?
No,
You'll see there.
for themselves. They can't be moitzi you because they're not chayiv. Only a chayiv can be moitzi a chayiv. A cotton or a isha can't be moitzi. Now, even though stam blowing on Yom Tif is asr midrabanan, so how can we allow the women to blow shofar? We're not talking about listening to shofar. Listening to shofar is no problem. We're talking about that we actually allow the women to blow shofar. Kidei lasis nachas ruach al nashim, hitiru lahen iser kal kozeh. To make a nachas ruach for the women, Chazal will matter this light iser. She'ein by afilu mashum shvus gomer. It's not a complete shvus, el mashum uvdin dechoil. Uvdin dechoil, vachadike work, is not have the status of a shvus gomer, shvus kal. Chazal pushed it aside to make a nachas ruach. Akadei kach, it's important the women should be happy. You feel good on Rosh Hashanah, Chazal pushed it aside. Uvdin dechoil b'chlal is a very difficult think to pinpoint what exactly were Chazal Kivei as Uvdin Dechoil. You know, what makes it Uvdin Dechoil? Like, why should this be more Choil than Shabbos? So, it takes a lot of Shikal Hadas, Hachra, to decide what's Uvdin Dechoil. We're not going to get into the parameters, it's just...
Could you say that since most musical instruments are also because of Shem Yisak and Kli, so Memela, it's an existing Yisr, so that's like to say it's Uvdin Dechoil because of that.
He doesn't say anything about it.
Shayach.
Maybe.
I'm just you know.
Maybe it's a good idea. It's an idea.
That would be a gather.
You know, the questions of Uvdin Dechoil come up when questions of certain activities. Sometimes it's hard to find. You know, how do we look at it? Is it Uvdin Dechoil activities of the Shabbos? You know. Okay. V'chein adam acher shekvar yatsa yidei chivasei mutal t'koilan. And furthermore, Chazal not only matter women to blow for themselves. What happens? A man was already yoitza. The man heard in shul, or he blew himself. Now a woman asked him, "Could you blow for me?" So, Mamela, a woman for herself wants to blow. Good, Chazal said you could do it for yourself, but now a man is going to be over on Uvdin Dechoil for the woman. Yes, that was also part of Kidei Lasses Nachas Ruach, that another man can also blow for them. We put aside the Isser of Uvdin Dechoil.
The woman can make a bracha?
We're going to see in 2 lines. Good question. Now, furthermore, on Yom Tiv, you're allowed to take out the shofar, carry it in Rosh Hashanah to blow for them. What's the chiddush? You're allowed to carry in Yom Tiv. The chiddush Yom Tiv, Hoitzah is not totally mutter. The oilam, we one time spoke about it here a while back, 2 years ago or something, that Yom Tiv, it's not permitted to carry anything you want. It's a common mistake. It's Tzoyrich Yom Tiv. You're allowed to carry something that's Tzoyrich Yom Tiv. So here, the Shulchan Aruch is saying you're allowed to take out the shofar into Rosh Hashanah to carry it in order to blow it for a lady. Even that we allow. That's considered a Tzorich Yom Tiv. Even though Ba'etzim she's not mechuyev, but this is all part of it. She can blow, another person can blow for her. You can take it into Rosh Hashanah. It's a Tzorich enough to blow for her.
Just the fact that someone might need it also. Maybe someone will see with it.
Someone
say,
else.
I didn't hear.
If you had kavanah that you're going to go on Miftzayim and look out, then yeah, but if you didn't have any kavanah,
So why doesn't it give it also the eitzah?
you don't need it.
You don't need it. It's enough that you're going to blow.
Exactly. Your lady herself is enough. Chazal were at kedekach, were mekel. They removed the parameters of this. There's no isser at all.
You're allowed to take the tissues out.
The tissue, by the way, so there's a discussion. When I have a box of tissues, or let's say people have these packets of tissues,
Right.
I'm not going to really need all of them in Yom Tov. I know I'm not going to. So what allows me to take out the extra tissues or keys on a rung? I only need one key on Yom Tov. What about all the other keys? So there's a whole discussion about ribui b'shiyurim. Are you allowed to add once something's mutter? So can I add extra on?
What comes out?
We one time discussed it here. I think what we said then, call was that as long as the same type, one tissue is allowed to schlep along with it a whole box. You need a tissue or two. You take a box with you. You're allowed to carry whatever you want in the stroller or whatever it is. You're allowed to bring a box with you to shul, even though you only need a few because the others are the same type, the same thing, the keys. But if it's something totally else, something separate which you don't need, you're not supposed to carry it. You're supposed to empty it.
Like a whistle.
Right,
You can't put a whistle on a keychain.
Right. Right. It's not so pashut. You have to think when you go to shul, what's a tzorich yom tov? There's a shayla masha taking back a machzer from shul, Rosh Hashanah. Yeah, you finished davening, and you want to take home the machzer. Is that a tzorich yom tov that you need it at home? Why are you taking it home? You're afraid it might be stolen, right? It might be you get lost in shul. Is that the tzorich yom tov losing it? So there's a lot of discussions about it. Akopanim, I don't want to get into the whole discussion. Yom Tov's another.
And the reason, one of the reasons, because you won't bring it.
Right. Itiru chilasa mishum soifon. The svara to say. Some people want to tell you that if it's going to be that you wouldn't bring it to shul because you're worried you're going to lose it, Hakadeka, then you're allowed to bring it because you're not going to bring it b'chlal to shul. But if it's not really a big deal to leave it in shul, you have a place in shul, right? If you have a place in shul to leave it and you can put it aside and come during the week and get it, then you shouldn't be taking it home. You should leave it there till the next day.
Or put your name.
Talus you could wear home. If you wear home the talus, carrying it home,
Yeah.
You need it tomorrow.
And I went back
and you're not, but why you're going to the same shul?
Jumped it, but you want to wear, you want to go to shul in your towels. People like walking on the towels.
I have the issue with the talus. I mean, I think you should wear it home, but wearing it home is no problem. You're wearing it. Even on Shabbos, you're allowed to wear it, right? It's a malbush. Again, if you're taking off a talus because
What's that sorry? It's a kavayapa. You read the Torah. In other words, you want to have a certain seder. You want to be able to you want your towels where you usually put it. I don't want it elsewhere.
we want a lot of things, but we can't, you know.
And that's what Sarkam is. Even is a peace of mind also part of Sarkam.
To a certain extent, but you know, we have to work in the parameters. We have to maybe we should give a shir on it. It's coming up Yom Tov. We have to look into the sugi again. Now, what about women making a bracha? Important, very important din, which is negeya. To remember this din comes from women making a bracha. Women are allowed to make the bracha for themselves. This is machloikis Sfaradim Ashkenazim. It goes back to the Rambam to Tosfos. It goes back to the Sfaradim Rishonim and Ashkenazi Rishonim. The Sfaradim Rishonim hold, the Rambam holds that a woman are not allowed to make a bracha because they're potter from the mitzvah. How can they make a bracha? It's a bracha l'atala. How can you say Asher Kiddishanu and Mitzvahs if it's Ivanu? They weren't commanded. They can't say. They could do the mitzvah, but they can't say the bracha. And that's how the Mechaber and Shulchan Aruch paskins like the Rambam, like the Sfaradim, they're not allowed. But the Ramah brings from Tosfos. The Tosfos says that you're allowed. You're allowed to make a bracha. Asher Kishon Tzivanu doesn't have to mean the lady dafke. It means Klal Yisrael. Men are mechoyev. The one who commanded men, he commanded the men. Not making that we're commanded. You're allowed to say a bracha Hashem. You commanded the men. You commanded Klal Yisrael. Does it mean we commanded us? Us. L'maisa, that's what the Alter Rebbe says in the next two lines. Karnas bar b'simi yid zayin. We had explained the very beginning of Shulchan Aruch. Shenogu hanashim levarach al kol mitzvahs man grama. Women have the minig to make a bracha on mitzvahs man grama. Al kain gam kan yivarach hanashim man. Therefore, also over here, women can make a bracha. However, men are not allowed to make a bracha for women. Men can blow for women to make a nachas ruach, like we spoke earlier. They're allowed to blow for women. They're not allowed to make a bracha. For them, it's a bracha l'atala. And the reason is like this. Women themselves are not mechuyev in it. So, let's take a step back, actually. B'chlal, let's forget about women for a minute. How does one moitzi someone else another bracha, another mitzvah? Now, if you were not yet yoitza, let's say kiddush. You were not yet yoitza kiddush. Come on, kiddush Friday night. You didn't make kiddush. You moitzi yourself and your family together. No problem. You were not yoitza. But what happens if someone doesn't know how to make kiddush and you already make kiddush? You make for them kiddush. How are you allowed to make for them kiddush? Isn't that a bracha l'atala for you? You already said kiddush. You already yoitza. That person should say it. What have to do with you? How are you allowed to suddenly say the Shem Hashem for that person? What connects you and that person?
You're a shliach.
Let's say he doesn't know how to say it.
You're
That person needs you to say it.
You're a shliach.
How do you become the person's shliach? So I could say you could put on tefillin for me.
That's a mitzvah shebekufi.
Mitzvah shebekufay. So the bracha, the answer is like this. There's a concept called arvos. Karvas Kol Yisrael Arevim Zelzah. Kol Yisrael Arevim Zelzah is not just a nice hashkafa phrase. It's a halacha phrase. And it's also a hashkafa phrase. It means both. But in the Gemara brings it down la halacha. The concept of arvos. Arvos means everyone we all took upon ourselves in the Midbar,
We're connected.
not only that we are taking upon ourselves the Torah, but we are being an Arev for other Yidden. We are being a guarantor that we're going to make sure that our fellow Jews keep
Connected.
mitzvahs. So we're connected. Let's talk about it in financial terms. You have a malvan, a loiva, a lender, and a borrower. And the borrower, that's a guarantor to guarantee the loan. Hashem is the lender. And we are the borrower. And you have a Yid who borrows money. If he doesn't have money to pay back, we have to pay back. We have to be ma'ariv and guarantee it. The way how we do it is like this. If someone does not know how to make Kiddush, even though I was already Yoitza, but I have to help him now fulfill his chiyuv. So I'm allowed to say over Kiddush again. Friday night, you're saying over not just a Bayer Priyagafen. You're saying over a whole bracha. Baruch Atah Hashem, Shabbat. You're going to say Asher Ratzabanu, and you're going to say Makadosh HaShabbos. I'm saying a whole bracha. It's not a bracha latala because I have a chiyuv of arvos to make sure he says Kiddush. So for me to say it quietly to myself is not going to help him. I need to say for him. So I could say it, he shemea ka'oina, he hears, and it's if he said it.
What if he knows how to say it? Are you still allowed to say it?
If he knows how to say it by himself, and he still wants you to do it,
Yeah.
if you did it, he's yoitza. Because Kol Yisrael Rebin Zelazeh did it. But l'chatchila, you're not supposed to be moitzi abaki. You're not supposed to be moitzi abaki. He's only supposed to use arvos in the case of an eini baki. Why not? Interesting. Some have learned, there were some that have said the svara is because if the person's a baki, knows how to say it themselves, so why are you saying it's a bracha l'vatal? Why are you saying it? So therefore they said, bracha shein tzricha. So you don't have to say it. You're not. Yeah,
So for Sof, he can still be Yoitza.
he's yoitza, right? He's yoitza. But we're all talking about l'chatchila. But the Eved, yoitza. Why this l'chatchila over here is not a regular chatchila? It's called a mitzvah namufcher. Mishabruda explains that when it says in the paskim that l'chatchila you're not allowed to be moitzi abaki, it's not the regular chatchila. It means a mitzvah namufcher. It's best that the baki should be moitzi himself and not rely on someone else. Now, some understand this to be because it's not right that you should say a bracha. Why are you saying a bracha if that person should be saying the bracha? It's sort of like somewhat like a bracha latala. Why do you need to say it? But if you said it, the person's yoytze. There's a chiyuv of arvos. However, the Alter Rebbe, people point out the Alter Rebbe in Hilchas Kiddush has a kundas achron, is a long pilpul, and in there he explains very nicely the vart of why the chatchila in al tamaitzi baki. A very beautiful vart. When it comes to someone lends money to someone, when it comes up the time for the lender to take back the money, the lender comes to the borrower and says, "Where's my money?" If the borrower has money, the borrower has to pay up. If the borrower has money, he can't say, "Go to the Ariv, go to the guarantor." No, you have money, you have to pay up. If you don't have money, then I'm going to go to the Ariv, the guarantor. Same thing over here. L'chatchila, you're not supposed to go to the baki. L'chatchila, you're not supposed to be moitzi the baki, someone who's an expert, someone who knows how to make kiddush or another mitzvah, knows how to do it themselves. So they should not be being yoitza by someone else. They should pay up their chiyuv to Hashem on their own. Just like the borrower should be paying up the loan if they are able to. That's like a baki, like an expert. If you're able to do the mitzvah, say the bracha by yourself, you should pay up your chiyuv by yourself. Why are you relying on someone else? You're saying, "Oh, run to the guarantor." How can you say run to the guarantor if you have money? You pay up. If you're not a baki, you're not an expert. It's as if like you don't have money. The analogy is you don't have money. I don't have money. I can't. I don't know how to say kiddush. I was never taught how to say kiddush. So then, of course, your Ariv, the other Yid, has to back you up and say kiddush for you. That's the svara how he explains the mechanism why l'chatchila we're not moitzi a baki. Once you did it, once you pay up, if the guarantor ran ahead and went to the lender, gave the money, he's paid up. Now he can't go after the borrower anymore. So the Eibush is not going to come after the guy anymore. He's already heard it. He heard it already. But l'chatchila, that's not the approach. By the way, the difference between the two approaches we spoke is the first approach is saying l'chatchila is more the focus that the person who's being moitzi shouldn't do it because it's sort of like a bracha latal, sort of like a bracha shein tzricha, like that person who knows how to should be saying it. Why are you saying it? the way the Alter Rebbe explains it, it's more of an obligation on the person who's listening. That why, if you know how to do it, you should be paying back your chiyuv. You should not be paying.
Rabbi, Baki, it's a one can just read, or he has to have kavanah to know what he's reading?
If you know, I think for call by Kiddush, if you know how to read Lashon Kodesh, even if you don't understand it, you're Yotzeh. Like Gabi Kiddush, to look it up again.
I said Kiddush Friday night for a family who doesn't know how to say it. I go to my house. Is my wife supposed to say Kiddush for everybody there and not me?
L'chatchila, yeah.
She should say it for everybody.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
How do you let the son do it?
Yeah. She should Friday night.
Yes.
Shabbos day, you have poskim that want to be meiko with Shabbos day. They say Shabbos day really essentially is just a Bayer Priya Gafen. That's the Iker of Kiddush. There's no other bracha there. You say some psukim, that's not the Iker Kiddush. Iker is Bayer Priya Gafen. That's it. By night you have a Bayer Priya Gafen and a bracha afterwards. Again, the Yom HaShishi is just psukim that we say. It's not the Iker Chi of Kiddush. Since the daytime is only a Bayer Priya Gafen, there's some that want a taina. Then what's the big deal? If the father already made Kiddush he made Kiddush in the Kiddush in shul, he already heard or made Kiddush in shul. Now he comes and wants to make for his family. He didn't hear Kiddush yet. They say someone a taina is not a problem because all you're doing is saying a Bayer Priya Gafen. He's like, I want to drink a little wine. So I say a Bayer Priya Gafen, the person hears it and the yoitz so kilo, and not being over on this l'chatchila. It's questionable, but the oilam is maker with it.
With the boy who had off, then of course he has to drink it.
He has to drink a revius.
Because there's no hours in there.
There is arvos because once you do it, once you.
No, I mean, on purpose at the end, and I go there with no hours. It's only mitzvahs, right? No?
Well, you have to have kavanah that you be moitzim. You have to.
I'm saying even if you had kavanah, I thought
This bayit is a good question. This bayit priya gafen, it has a gather of a birchas hamitzvah, not only birchas
I
hamitzvah.
heard something like that.
Yeah, it says in the Shulchan Aruch. Good question. This bayit priya gafen is not a regular bayit priya gafen. The day kiddush, you have what to be maker with. The night kiddush, listen, if it's going to change the whole setup of your family and things like that, maybe it's not appropriate. You have to remember it's only a mitzvah and mukhar, the salat chila. So if it's going to change the whole setup, but if it's once in a while that she's going to make kiddush the whole family, but maybe if it's instead of the father comes home and makes kiddush of the family, it's a whole thing, then I wouldn't change it. I would say you have to call a little shot your mitzvah and mukhar. How far do you go that way? You have to remember we can't pull it all the way that way in such a case. But no question about it, on a regular Shabbos, really the women shouldn't be waiting for the men to make kiddush at home. Women are mechuyev in kiddush the same as men. When it comes, I'm not talking on Friday night, let's say Shabbos day, there's no reason they have to sit there starving themselves out. Let them make kiddush and that's it. Pick up the becher, you train them how to do it, and
Same thing with Havdalah again.
yeah, Havdalah they can make their own Havdalah. Havdalah is a problem. Havdalah, you're not allowed to be moed. It's an issue. Once a man was yoytz Havdalah already to make for women again. That just for a woman, she shouldn't do it. She should make herself.
Let us say a
Yeah, but if you don't
Only by
accept-
Havdalah.
If you don't accept Havdalah,
Right, my wife-
in the
my-
shul,
No.
accept
If you have a chavana, you're not yoytz.
and then you can make it.
If
Yeah.
you can,
Now let's bring this all back to Tkiyah Shofar. Remember, if someone was not yet yoytza mitzvah, yoytza kiddush himself, and he comes home, he says kiddush for himself, automatically he's yoytza and his family's yoytza. His family's yoytza with him. The chiddush is, how is someone yoytza? How are you allowed to make a berachoh or a mitzvah for someone once you were already yoytza? So we said that concept is called arvos. Kol Yisrael arevim zelazeh. So now, over here, when it comes to women are not obligated to Tkiyah Shofar. The only reason that they're blowing is they want to have the mitzvah say blowing shofar. They get a mitzvah like an eini mitzvah, so they get schar to a certain extent. And we even allow them to blow shofar, which is generally a uvdin dechoil. It's a weekday activity. We allow them to blow an instrument on Rosh Hashanah, even though they're not obligated to give them an achas ruach. However, the bracha, what type of guarantor does the man have that he can make a bracha for the woman? What is an arvus? Arvus only applies where the other person is obligated in the mitzvah. You have to help them fulfill the obligation. Women are not obligated in shofar, so what manner are you allowed to make a bracha for them? If they're obligated, then I could say every yid now mechuyev to help them out, and you have to say a bracha for them. But if they're not mechuyev to give a shofar, so how should you have to be a guarantor for them? So the concept of arvus doesn't apply over here. So if you make a bracha, it's a bracha l'atala mamish. Yeah.
Is it better for each person to blow himself, or there's an Indian for one to blow for them?
Roiv am hadas melech. I mean, if you can get a oilam, it's definitely better.
But I'm saying that if you give it to someone else, usually it's not the optimal way to do it.
Oh, you're saying you yourself personally should be yaitza. Certain mitzvahs like that everyone's not bucky in. If you have to be professional, like a mumche, like to give shofar and
But what I'm saying is that a man.
Bikr Megillah, we don't tell you every person's to do
What a
it.
man could do conceivably is every person should have a shofar tonight. If he's going to blow for a lady.
I'll tell you the answer.
I would say that later on that he's blowing, he can make the bracha because he's doing it for himself.
You know what the answer is?
I'm
Mitzvah
afraid
skiyah shofar is not blowing, it's hearing. That's the answer.
Okay, but the person himself is
It's not skiyah, it's shmiyah.
fine, but when you're alone and you're blowing, you're doing both.
Sure. But that's why there's no hiddur. You're asking a good question. That no hiddur is because if the tkiyah shofar was the mitzvah on the tekeya, so then you would say mitzvah boy yosim mishluch. We have a klal gadol Torah.
Right.
Always better a person should do the mitzvah himself and the shliach should do it, right?
Not with shofar.
But not with shofar. You don't have that concept. L'chura, the way I see it now, is because the mitzvah is not on the tekeya. The mitzvah is on the hearing. That's why, by the way, someone who can hear but he can't speak, the cheresh, is a mute, not a deaf mute, but a mute, is chayiv to give shofar and can blow for other people.
So all I was suggesting was that if a person has later on women to blow for, so he can listen out tonight to the original Kiyah Shofar.
Yeah, if someone makes a condition that.
Then later on, he can make a bracha because he'll say that if I'm going to blow later on for somebody who's not mitzvah deraisa b'chuyim, so when I hear originally, I'm not going to be yotzeh. Then later on, I'm going to be yotzeh with that bracha.
You could do it, but l'chatchila, better not to rely on conditions. L'chatchila, if there's no reason why to do it, you do have such a concept making tanai, but why would you do it? You hear in shul, hearing it with a big oilam, mamish b'revam adis melech. It's the best way to be yotzeh the mitzvah. You should taka be yotzeh the mitzvah.
Yeah, but it's very complicated. Doing the first kiyas with one neshima and the woman with two neshimas, but it's a little bit complex.
That's why not everyone's about tekeya.
Right, but on the other hand, that's why you want, if you do know that law, you want to blow yourself, just so that you're...
Ain't a chanami? You can have in mind, yeah. Someone wants to. You hear so many tkiyas on Rosh Hashanah, If you stay throughout the whole daven until the end, you hang 130 tkiyas, so you should have heard the good tkiyas, The last 30 that we blow, mamash at the ending of davening, those 30, so according to the Levush, it's in order to confuse the Satan. But the emes is in the Shulchan Aruch, and the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch says it's because in case you were yaitza. In case you were yaitza, we blow another 30. So, we yaitza in the ending of the
Doesn't
day.
make difference, another 10 or 20 or 10.
As long as you have a decent Baltakeh, you're good.
So we do 30 to bring it to 100, right?
Now,
One more thing. I think I saw in the Shabbos ayah that Shemay Kalin is not yet. Not yet.
right, okay. Face. I know it says somewhere that there's Friday night there's an inyan. It's more of an inyan. A person should personally make kiddush on Shabbos day. There's some people that are makbid Friday night. You should personally make a kiddush. Then instead of being yoitze from the balabas or whatever, then if they could. But Friday, the Shabbos day, people aren't makbid.
So what was the...
Yeah, it's a separate discussion. We have to look at every mitzvah. When do we say the klal, the rule of mitzvah boy, yoisim mishluch, mitzvah for him to do it more than the shliach? When is it better for you to do it? When do we say no? It's okay that you can be yoitza with someone else, and there's no adifius to do it by yourself. Let's finish off this din.
If it's better to say it by yourself, why was Rebbe after he was different? Why was he mighty?
Let's stick to the sin. Aval anoshim leyivarechu lahen and kayotzi chavaz. 2 lines from the bottom of the page. Men should not make a bracha for women. Ve'ein on toikim if they were already yoitze and in toikim peshel nashim. You already yoitze and you're only blowing for women in the crowd. She bracha vatala. She nashim ba'atzmin chayavas bracha zu. Women themselves not obligated in this bracha. She yivarech zeh loitzi de chavas bracha zu. In order that this person should be able to mighty them with this bracha. El shalahem ba'atzmin reshus b'yam levarach. Chazal gave them themselves reshus to make the bracha, like we explained before. Aval acher someone else lo meyivarech bechinam. So therefore, someone who wants to blow for women, so the way it should done is they should make the bracha before. Make the bracha before they hear, not the Baal Tekeya.
Oh, the woman.
If you women, what happens if you want to make a bracha? For some reason, you want to make a bracha for the woman.
It's Baal Tekeya.
Baal Tekeya. Let's say you're in a crowd which isn't from, and the women don't know how to make a bracha, so you need to make a bracha. But you can't say it, remember, on your own because there's no arvus over here. It's, even they don't know how to. The Nanabaki doesn't help the Nanabaki. There is no essential connection between you and them because women are not obligated l'chatchila. So the whole arvus cannot exist. There never was a lender. They were never lent. They'll have to pay back. So there's no chiyuv. So haroitz l'tgoyel and nashim baruch, and the Alter Rebbe gives you a eitzah. Someone who wants to blow for women and to make a bracha for them, yitzka lahen koidim sheishmat kis beisach nesses. Blow for them before you hear in shul. So you will now you'll be yoitze. So you weren't yoitze in shul, or you'll have a mind when you're in shul. You're going to say, I'm not being yoitze with the shul skiyas. Similar, yeah. I'm not being yoitze skiyas. Not a condition. Just he's clearly saying I'm not being yoitze, even though I'm in shul. Then when you later on, you can make the bracha because you're making it for yourself. You're making it for yourself, and the women can hear also.
Why don't you just tell them, repeat after me, Baruch Adonai.
But you can't say Hashem's name. Yeah, that's
So why can't you do that?
Nothing wrong with that.
That sounds like a good
wrong. That's what you have to do. I'm mitzayim.
You say Landein L'Kech, and then you do the rest of the
Next
words.
time you tell them to say the word.
That's what I do.
I'm the son where
I say Baruch Adonai Hashem. I say quietly Landein L'Kech, and then I do the rest.
Okay. Now, if you're able to do it with that,
Yeah, but if they don't know the Shem of Vaya with how they...
You say
Echo.
Hashem's name, a little.
You will say the same thing.
Yeah, you say Landein L'Kech, you finish your puzzle.
How does that undo the bracha, not making it to a bracha of Atala?
Say the whole puzzle.
if they're
Saying the Shem
sure
of
that
Vaya,
you
what
actually...
don't
You heard the Kol Shofar, yeah. Oh. You have to hear the actual sound. Okay, we'll talk about it after. Now, Lamaisa, by the way, a side din that he mentions at the ending of the Sif, we have to go to Ma'ariv, but with this person who left shul to go and blow for women. So he made a hefsek. Okay, so let's go back a step. There are 2 sets of tkiyas, main tkiyas that we blow on Rosh Hashanah. The 30th to end is a minig ba'alma. It's not ikar at all. No chiv to hear those 30 to end. It's a minig. The chiv that you have midiraisa midirabanan is to hear the tkiyas miyusha they're called, the ones that you hear after Kriyas Torah, those 30, and then the other 90 which we hear during Shemoneh Esrei, during the quiet Shemoneh Esrei, during Chazas Hashatz. Some don't do it in the quiet Shemoneh Esrei, but it's called tkiyas. These 2 sets are called miyushev and ma'umid. The first ones are called miyushev, the sitting tkiyas, because reality you're allowed to sit for the tkiyas. Only the Baal Tekeya needs to stand. He's a chiv to stand. Baal Tekeya is a chiv min adin stand. Our minig is to stand. It's a minig. But hiyois that me'ikar hadin, you don't have to stand for the first tkiyas. So they're called tkiyas miyushav. The second tkiyas you're standing anyway. It's Shemon Esrei. And even if it's Chazaras Hashatz, there's a sheet that you should stand by Chazaras Hashatz, right? So therefore the second set of tkiyas are given the term tkiyas mu'umad, standing tkiyas. These two tkiyas, the first one you yoitza the tkiyas min ha'torah. And the second one is midrabanan. Now, we make a bracha in front of the first tkiyas. And we have in mind the second tkiyas also. The bracha in the beginning goes for all the tkiyas you're going to hear to the ending of davening. Therefore, you're not supposed to make a hefsek and talk in between. Therefore, we don't talk in between the tkiyas. We're quiet. For once, there's no talking in shul, right? So there's no talking. In some shuls, at least.
Wishful thinking.
So, less than the usual, right? So, l'maisa, you're not supposed to talk in between, not to make a hefsek. But if someone did, you don't need to make another bracha. Why not? L'chora, mitzvah d'rabani, you have to make a bracha on two. So if I made a hefsek, so now the bracha I said a miyushiv doesn't help from a umad, should I have to make another bracha on the upcoming tkiyas? The answer is in this rule like this. Let's bring a different example, which seems different, but this is essential. You're sitting in a sukkah.
It's just a minute. Why would you think?
No, it's not a minute. All the 30, all the after Tehillim over there, the ending of davening, that's a minute. But the ones that you daven, say during Shemon Esrei, that's a chiyuv.
Why
With
you
the
heard already
Rabbanan.
30 koilos? You heard every.
It's midrabanan.
You heard every conceivable.
It's a chiyuv from Chazal. Chazal or Kivei, you should do it again. The reason is to confuse the satan.
You don't need a bracha for that.
It's a mitzvah midrabanan, just like a mitzvah ner Chanukah, mikra Megillah, halal,
Yeah, but
make
this-
brachas.
There's a mitzvah to make a bracha to confuse the sudden.
You don't make special bracha. The first bracha.
He said,
is
what's the
Yosef for the whole day.
havamina? But I'm saying, he's saying that there's a havamina. What's the havamina?
Getting rid of the satans also. Right?
So I would forget. I'll confuse him even more if I don't make a bracha.
By the way, there's a whole discussion, side note, how could it be confused with Satan? You know, the Satan's a malach.
Knows everything.
He's not a fool, you know. He could,
He's
I mean, do
not-
it year after year.
His way,
Malach
his
with
way.
tail and horns or without?
That's a heavy.
I didn't see him. Mike said there's a lot of discussion about it. One of the explanations
Malach
is
with a pitchfork.
the Satan,
The guy in red, yeah.
the Satan sees that the Yidden are blowing shofar again. He knows the very fact that we blow shofar a second time, we so show how much we love Hashem. That we already heard 30 tkiyas, but we're sitting here and we're hearing more tkiyas and more tkiyas, we're hearing more again. That's the confusion for the Satan. Meaning the Satan gets all confused. He wants to be makatrig and say negative things against Klal Yisrael, and he has what to say different things. But Lamaisa, people are sitting in shul and they're hearing again the tkiyas. What's he going to tell? Abish says, "Look at my Yidden. They're doing it tkiyas again a second time." So he taka knows that this is the plan, but it doesn't help because the fact of the matter is that the Yidden are blowing it a second time. So Nistadim Tainoisa, what's he going to say? He sees the Yidden are coming back to Hashem. They're going the extra yard. Hashem. The Ma'is the Shilas, why don't we make another bracha? The answer is like this: when you're sitting in a sukkah and you make in the beginning of the meal a leishib sukkah, do you have to eat the whole meal without talking in between? No, you talk, you shmooze, you say different Torah, and sometimes you shmooze a little bit, whatever happens. So, Lamaisa was you made a hefsek. How am I allowed to continue eating without making another bracha?
This was the Achilas class.
The answer, no, but I'm still in the sukkah.
The talking is part of the relationship.
You haven't left the sukkah.
Haven't left the
The
sukkah.
relationship with sukkah is not the eating,
I'm
no?
still doing. It's one long mitzvah. I'm sitting in the sukkah doing one long mitzvah. In middle of a mitzvah, there's no hefsek in middle of a mitzvah. In middle of one mitzvah, there's no hefsek. I made a bracha at the beginning of it. Let's say bedikas chametz. Another example. Bedikas. Let's give a better example. It's easier to understand. Bedikas chametz. The minig is we make a bracha in the beginning of bedikas chametz. If you interrupted right after you made the bracha before you started the search, bracha vatala, hefsek. Same thing with leishav sukkah. By the way, you said a leishav sukkah, you didn't eat right away afterwards, made a hefsek. But till sedayim, every bracha. But what happens if I started doing the bedika? So I'm going around the house. In the middle of the bedika, I talked about something. I got a call, I picked it up. I shouldn't, right? But you did. You don't have to make another bracha. I have more bedika because I'm midst of a mitzvah. When you're in the middle of one mitzvah, it's not divided, it's undivided. I'm in the middle of a mitzvah. Main thing is the bracha is at the beginning of the mitzvah. Now I'm doing one long mitzvah. I stopped a little bit in the middle, but I haven't completed the mitzvah. As long as it's one unit, the mitzvah, it's one unit. It's not two mitzvahs. The bracha goes for everything. The whole bedika. So l'chatchila, we're mahader not even to speak anything, if we could. But if you can, you could speak in Yalma bedika. But even if your mama spoke, by bedika's chametz, your mama spoke, you don't have to say another bracha. Same thing here, Chazal say. Tkiyas, Me'omer, and Me'yoshev are really one unit, they're one parcel. It's not two mitzvahs. So the rabbanon of the rice, it's all one unit. It's all one long mitzvah. Yes, it has a rabbanon part and the rice part, but it's not like a separate mitzvah rabbanon. It's one unit. The deraisa has part of it. It's the rabbanon. It's all one long mitzvah. It's one long mitzvah. It's called a mitzvah achas. So l'chatchila you shouldn't speak. But once you spoke, it's not a hefsek, and you don't make a bracha. And it's not pshat. The bracha taka goes until the ending of the mitzvah. Let's give you another example where it won't apply. Let's say shchita. If I'm shechting or kisei hadam, I make a bracha kisei hadam, but I have one behema here, another behema. Each one is separate. So if I interrupt in between, I'm going to have to make another bracha because it's a separate unit. Or let's say by shchita, make a bracha before you shecht a behema. You have a few behemoths in front of you. If you're going to make a hefsek, so you're going to make another bracha on the next behema because it's a separate unit. L'maisa, if it one mitzvah there's no hefsek, so why l'chatchila should I not speak between tkiyas? Why should I allow you l'chatchila to speak between tkiyas? What's the problem? Why is there even a l'chatchila reason why not? If it's one long mitzvah, what's the problem? By bedikas chametz also. Why l'chatchila should you not speak about anything that does not pertain to the bedika during the bedika? Why not? Why not speak? It's one long mitzvah. Why not? Why not be Messiah?
It doesn't. It's a
Then you
thing.
stop in the middle. You stop. You have to make a new bracha. Anytime you have a chadas, you have to make a new bracha.
Good. So you didn't have a hesach hadas, Gans.
That's what chadas is.
No, hesach hadas means you removed yourself from the mitzvah. Just making a blurred out is not a hesach hadas.
It means that you lost.
If a guy's sitting on his phone but he's still in the room and he's still by the bedika, it's not hesach hadas. He still knows, he's conscious where he is. He just he's taking, not a hesach hadas. Hesach hadas means you left the room, you forgot, you went to the store, that was it, and you came back, right? Bedikas chametz. You went to buy some more chametz. The minig is not to speak. The reason why the minig is not to speak is Chazal said like this: since it seems like two mitzvahs, it seems like it's two separate mitzvahs, the Me'omer and the Me'yoshev. Seems like two separate mitzvahs, if you shouldn't talk in between. But the emes is that if you talk in between, still good. So therefore, this person who went to go blow shofar for the women, he heard the tkiyas in shul, let's say. Then he went out and he went to blow shofar for the women. He came back in. He does not need to make another bracha, even though he walked. Took him time to walk somewhere. He walked a few blocks. Spoke, man, had no problem with hefsek. But chatchila, you're right. You shouldn't make hefsek. But he went to go somewhere else. Comes back. He doesn't even make. It's all one long mitzvah.
By tkiyas, we usually in the Uwed, the machlokes is also Ashkenaz and Sfarad. According to the Ashkenaz, we do blow during silent Shemoneh Esrei because, or maybe it's some. I know the Groa held that you don't do Muhammad at all. You do it during Chazoros Shas.
I think that's the minig Ashkenaz.
It's bevalvel your das.
Which happens to me.
Right, so just that something's so confused just by seeing some people are doing it during Esrei, some people are doing it during I'm confused every year myself.
It's not only
And not only
about
that,
Satan,
the
but
guy
the
bangs on the beamer, all of a sudden now we're doing tekiyas, right? He's going so fast. He's up to the second tekiyas before I get to finish the first. So I know if the Yidden are Mabubal, of course the son is Mabubal. That's the chat. That's that way. The Eibusha made 3 minhagim. Everyone has different minhagim. Because that's how the Southern's technically moving.
But I don't understand.
There was one of
Also,
the.
Nil Shmedesi. Is it normal? You're Nil Shmedesi, and also you start blowing in front of God. You stand in front of God. You start going "No!" right in front of David.
The Kotzker Rebbe, the Chassidim, by the way, Chassidim blow during Shemon Esrei, also during the quiet Shemon Esrei. The minig Ashkenaz was not only to blow by Chazaras Hashems, but in Shulchan Aruch it says the minig is that you should. The best minig is to blow also by the quiet Shemon Esrei, but does not record that was the minig. I don't know when.
We started doing both.
Yeah.
The story.
But there was a var.
You only do one, right? You don't do during Chazaras Hashem.
Of course we do.
Well, then you don't do silent. You don't do during the silent.
We do.
We do.
What we do,
like you do.
we don't have the table.
The Kotzker Rebbe, I think the Kotzker Rebbe said
And then
It doesn't.
the Kotzker Rebbe didn't want it to blow by the quiet Shemon Esrei. He said, well, I'm in the middle of Malchus and they're already blowing Zechreinis, you know. He's trying to do the Malchus. He's being pale the Malchus.
Exactly. He was in Bulu himself. It was Mavabo.
I'm in the middle of Malchus over here, hearing Zechreinis and
I don't
Shofar.
understand the Satan for 3,000 years. We try to be with Balbel here. He helped it that we're playing with him.
That's the answer. The answer is, if you're doing what Hashem wants and you go the extra yard, that's it. He doesn't. You did it.
Not really
You
for the
win,
Satan,
you
it's
win,
for
you win.
Hashem.
That's the Arba Satan.
That's it.
What's
Hashem created a Satan. He created a
Right.
Satan.
So,
But is he really a Malach? I never
Yeah,
heard this
Satan's a
before.
Malach.
A red Malach?
Who are Malach Hamav? Who are Satan? Who are Malach Hamavis?
But he's really got a tail with a pitchfork, no? I mean, he's not white.
You see Malachim, that's good.
He can't be white. He's like on
Too many movies with like.
White Russians and
He's a black man.
good man.
The Malach is
Well,
Rach HaKoyna.
devil.